Guidelines for areas placed under Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine or MECQ. Under Section 3, amended Omnibus Guidelines on the Implementation of Community Quarantine in the Philippines as of April 3, 2021. MECQ from April 12 to 26, 2021 covering National Capital Region, Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, and Rizal. Movement and transportation of people during MECQ. Observance of minimum public health standards at all times. Strict home quarantine shall be observed in all households. Movement of all persons shall be limited to accessing essential goods and services, and for work in permitted offices, establishments or such activities allowed during MECQ. Below 18 years old or over 65 years old, those with immunodeficiency, comorbidity, or other health risks, and pregnant women remain in their residences at all times except when obtaining essential goods and services, or for work in industries and offices. However, limited to accessing essential goods, work in permitted offices or establishments, and authorized person outside residence are allowed. For transportation, the road, rail, maritime, and aviation sectors of public transportation shall be allowed to operate at such capacity and following the protocols as provided for by the Department of Transportation. Use of active transportation such as biking is encouraged. The movement of cargo, delivery vehicles as well as vehicles used by public utility companies shall be unhampered. Shuttle services of permitted establishments shall not be subject to an ID system but shall maintain compliance with minimum public health standard. For individual outdoor exercises, walks, jogging, running or biking, are allowed within the general area of their residence. Provision of food and essential services. All establishments, persons, or activities permitted to operate, work, or be undertaken during ECQ under Section 2 Paragraph 4 of the Omnibus Guidelines shall be allowed to operate at full on-site capacity. Public and private hospitals, health, emergency and frontline services. Manufacturers of medicines, medical supplies, devices and equipment. Agriculture, forestry, and fishery, and their workers, including farmers, RBs, fisherfolk, and agri-fishery stores. Delivery and courier services transporting food, medicine, or other essential goods. Agencies and instrumentalities of the government shall be fully operational. Skeletal workforce on-site capacity, and under alternative work arrangements. These are with frontline services, laboratory and testing services, border control or other critical services. Senate and House of Representatives. Judiciary such as Supreme Court, Commission on Audit, Sandiganbayan and the lower courts. Office of the Ombudsman and the Constitutional Commissions. Officials and employees of foreign diplomatic missions. International organizations accredited by Department of Foreign Affairs. Hotels or accommodation establishments with valid Department of Tourism accreditation shall be allowed to accommodate guests for legitimate purposes. The following are allowed with maximum of 50% operational capacity. Private establishments for essential goods and services. Media establishments and their total permanent staff complement. Workers accredited by Department of Transportation and other flexible work arrangements. Other medical, dental, rehabilitation and optometry clinics, pharmacies or drug stores. Veterinary clinics, banks, money transfer services, telecommunication companies, internet service and cable providers. Manufacturing companies and suppliers, construction works such as cement and steel. Funeral and embalming services, security personnel, real estate activities limited to leasing only. Capital markets, water supply and sanitation services and facilities. Energy and power companies, airline and aircraft maintenance, pilots and crew, and employees. The Philippine Postal Corporation, Philippine Statistics Authority, export businesses, printing presses. Humanitarian assistance, personnel from civil society organizations, non-government organizations, United Nations humanitarian country teams. Pastors, priests, rabbis, imams or such other religious ministers in the conduct of necrological or funeral rites. Repair and maintenance of machinery and equipment. Operating industries during MECQ. All establishments, persons, or activities not permitted to operate, work, or be undertaken during ECQ shall be allowed to operate at 50% on-site capacity. Industries that shall remain prohibited. Entertainment venues, recreational venues, amusement parks, outdoor sports courts or venues for contact sports. Indoor sports like gym, spa, swimming pool, etc. Casinos, horse racing, cockfighting, lottery and betting shops and other gamings. Indoor visitor or tourist attractions. Outdoor tourist attractions. Venues for meetings. Personal care services like salons, derma clinics, parlor, etc. Indoor dine-in services of foods like commissaries, restaurants, and eateries. Mass gatherings during MECQ. Gatherings outside of residences shall be prohibited. However, gatherings that are essential for the provision of health, government, and humanitarian activities are allowed. For religious gatherings, allowed up to 10% of the venue capacity. Local government unit may increase the allowable venue capacity up to 30% provided in full compliance with the minimum public health standards. For necrological services, wakes, interment, funerals for those who died of causes other than COVID-19 is allowed, but limited to family members, upon satisfactory proof of their relationship to the deceased provided in full compliance with the minimum public health standards. Other guidelines during MECQ. Law enforcement agencies shall recognize any of the following IDs. Interagency Task Force ID. Valid IDs issued by establishments allowed under ECQ. If required by local government unit, local IDs for availing of essential goods and services. No travel passes needed. Face-to-face or in-person classes is not allowed. Curfew for Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, Rizal and National Capital Region. Uniform curfew hours may be imposed by the local government unit's authorized person outside residences, workers, cargo vehicles, and public transportation, however, shall not be restricted by such curfew. That's all for now. This is your Uncle Danny saying, protection is the first prevention.